I'm Sharkey, and I'm here with Abasi Concepts, and I love them. It started with my grandfather back home in Chicago. He owned a record shop back in the 80s, and when he passed on, a lot of those records, my dad ended up getting them, and we were listening to everything, from George Benson to Steve Lukather with Toto, and Quincy Jones records, Steely Dan records, Pink Floyd records, everything, classical music, funk, gospel. My dad was big. He was a musician too, by the way. He played multiple instruments, but his main, instruments were organ or keys and drums. And so when I started gigging, playing with choirs, my dad said, take all the stuff that you learn and incorporate it into, the music that you're playing in the church. And he said, watch what happens. I should say my first bigger gig was the Isley Brothers when I was 18 years old. Before then, I was doing Donald Lawrence and Smokey Norfolk, which are also really major gigs for the gospel industry. Richard Smallwood and Anita Wilson and all these people. And then from the Isley Brothers, in my early 20s, I started working with D'Angelo. And then I stemmed off and worked with other people like, CeeLo Green and Steve Jordan, Paul Simon, Dave Matthews, doing gigs with, these people, and also recently John Mayer. Bobby Womack, he had a song, and he does something like, it was his version of Fly Me to the Moon, but that was the intro. So, again, it was. And I was like, man, okay, so taking this one little thing, So I said, man, how can I use that? Because that was a pretty cool riff. So stuff like Another Life, which I played on D'Angelo's record, is. I took that thing and put it in that. first I was like, wow, this is crazy, it's interesting, but yet still familiar. It's new, I've never seen anything shaped like it before, designed like this. And I usually, when I pick up guitars, I try to just play one note just to see how it feels, if it resonates, you know, and acoustically first. And play one note, and I felt it in the body of the guitar. So that meant, that alone was like, okay, all right, let's see what we're talking about. Plugged up into an amp, played one note again, and it had a lot of character, it had a lot of, I don't know, it just makes you want to play, So I was, you know, I ended up playing the guitar maybe an hour straight before the gig, right into the gig, you know. And man, the look of it, the feel, it just feels like a new guitar, but yet still like an old, worn-in, familiar guitar, you know. So that's what I dig about it. If you play with dynamics, it'll give you everything you need, you know. So if I want to hit it soft, it speaks, you know. You know, it's talking, you know, speaking. See that? You know, hear that coming out. I mean, you don't have to do much. The guitar, it plays itself, you know what I mean? Only old guitars do this. You know, vintage guitars that you spend like $18,000 for, $20,000. You don't get that. Man, come on, man. Man, come on. That's all I can say.